Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Fakhirah, Binti Mohamad Fitri. I will now discussing our section 1. Gas prices peaked in 2018, however, there was no measurable decrease in the number of gallons of gas purchased per household until 2020. Identify two reasons the demand for gas is so inelastic. Answer the question 1 is, gas demand is inelastic because the changes in gas price usually affect in a small percentage of the demand. The shape of demand curve is super slope. It is because the percentage changes in price is larger than the percentage changes in quantity demand. Price elasticity along demand curve was not very responsive. One of the reasons why the demand for gas is inelastic is the availability of substitute goods. When there are a few or no substitute, just like gas, demand is usually inelastic. The demand is consumer heavy. The demand for a good will be inelastic for consumers who are habituated or accustomed to consuming it. For example, consumers of gas, because it becomes a necessary good for them. Therefore, consumers will always want to consume gas, no matter how expensive it may be.
Question number 2. During this era of high gas prices, consumers begin to demand electric vehicles that do not require gas. With the increase in the availability of electric cars, make the demand for gas more elastic or more inelastic. Explain. Increase in the availability of electric cars make the demand for gas more inelastic. This is because there are several gas stations that have places to charge vehicles at this time. But if we want to do all the stations using electricity, not using gasoline anymore, this will cause our resources to be less because our country does not have a large supply of electricity for all gas stations in this country. Compared to we have a lot of petrol oil resources in Sarawak to cover the petrol oil resources in this country.
Alright, so moving on to question 3. Do you think the supply of electric vehicles is relatively elastic or relatively inelastic? Explain. Well, personally, I think that the supply of electric vehicles in Malaysia are inelastic. Firstly, because of the lack of level of local technology. So as we all know, Malaysia is not a first world country. So when comparing our technology to countries such as the US or Japan, we are very backwards when compared to them. So that is why I think that the technology in Malaysia is inferior and causing a higher cost of production when needed to increase supply of electric vehicles. Therefore, suppliers will have to produce small amounts of electric vehicles at a high price in order for them to not lose profit. Alright, so moving on to my second point, why I think the electric vehicles are inelastic in Malaysia. Well, it's because of the high cost of production. As I've said before, the technology in Malaysia is very inferior when compared to first world countries. So, as Malaysia have inferior technology, we will have to import technology from more superior countries such as Germany, Japan and others. So, the cost of not only producing but the process of importing and the process of going through taxes and minusing subsidies from the government that they don't provide for production of electric vehicles is why I think that the supply of electric vehicles are inelastic because of the high cost of production. So suppliers will have to decrease their supply and price their products at a high price so they wouldn't lose profit over people not buying their products because there are many substitute goods for electric vehicles such as gas using cars. There are many of them in Malaysia. And now moving on to my final point, the reason the supply of electric vehicles in Malaysia are relatively inelastic is because the inventory of ready supply electric vehicles in Malaysia is very low. So as we all know, electric vehicles are actually a kind of a newer concept, especially in the transportation industry nowadays. So especially for Malaysia, as I said before, the technology in Malaysia is kind of behind when compared to other countries. So electric vehicles are not many in production and not many on the road right now actually. Even when you go to gas stations or you go to public places such as malls, there aren't many that provide stations for charging electric vehicles. Therefore, this is why I think that the supply of electric vehicles in Malaysia are relatively inelastic. It's because if imagine one day when the supply of electric vehicles are low or maybe even zero, therefore it will certainly take more time for producers and suppliers to produce new products, to produce new electric vehicles, to replace the old inventories placed in the market. And the higher cost of production of electric vehicles certainly does not help and will cause suppliers to think twice or maybe 3 times before producing more in Malaysia. So in conclusion, that is why I think that the supply of electric vehicles in Malaysia are relatively inelastic. This could be proven through the graph that we have put in our slides, where a big change in price will only cause a small change in quantity supply. Because why? Because the supply of electric vehicles are inelastic.
Question number 4. Identify one good you believe would likely have a negative cross-price electricity with cars. What does this imply about the relationship between these two goods? I believe petrol and cars likely have a negative cross-electricity, as these two are complementary goods. Alternatively, the cross-electricity of demand for complementary goods is negative. That is mean, if price for one item increase, an item closely associated with that item and necessary for the consumption decreases, because the demand for the main good has also dropped. Based on table 4.1, when the price of petrol increases, the quantity demand for car drops as consumers are using less car and need to purchase fewer car. In the formula, the numerator is negative and the denominator is positive. This result is a negative cross electricity.
Moving on to question 5. This question tells us about the price of electric vehicles falls from $29,439 to $25,939, and the quantity demanded for the electric vehicles increase. And if the firm increase the price from $39,493 to $32,000, the quantity demand will decrease. And this question wants us to assume that ABC firms want to increase its revenue. Continue to the calculation. The formula of price elasticity demand is new quantity demand minus old quantity demand over old quantity demand, divided by new price minus old price over old price. If the price of electric vehicles falls from $29,493 to $25,939, the quantity demand will increase from 7,000 to 11,000. After calculation, the value of elasticity is 4.74. In this case, a small percentage of decrease in price will cause a big percentage of increase in quantity demand. If the firm increase the price of electric vehicles from $29,493 to $32,000, the quantity demand will decrease from 7,000 to 5,000. After calculation, the elasticity value is 3.36. In this case, a small percentage of increase in price will cause a big percentage of decrease in the quantity demanded. Since the product is elastic, the quantity demand is relatively responsive to the price, and the change in price of a product will cause a bigger percentage change in quantity of demand. Based on my economics knowledge, increase in price will reduce total revenue and decrease in price will increase total revenue. As we can see, increase in price will decrease the quantity demand. So if ABC firm decide to increase the price of electric vehicles, the firm will lose its customer as its quantity demanded for the products has decreased. It is because the product is a substitute good, therefore customer can change to gas using car. In conclusion, ABC firm should charge the lower price, which is $25,939, because it will increase the quantity demanded for the electric vehicles and also increase the revenue as many customers decide to buy the electric vehicles. Therefore, attract more customers and the revenue will increase exponentially.
Alright, so moving on to the final question of our presentation, question 6. Suppose income increased by 20% and the gasoline consumption increased by 10%. Calculate the income elasticity of demand coefficient for gasoline and identify if it is a normal good or a luxury good. So, based on our question, the change in income is 20% and the change in quantity demanded is 10%. So through here, if we apply to the formula, it is 0.1 over 0.2 and we'll get a value of 0.5. 0.5 is lower than 1, so this proves that gasoline is a normal good. The effect on the graph, as you can see here, increase in income from Y1 to Y2 leads to increase in demand from Q1 to Q2, and the percentage of increase in quantity demanded is lower than the percentage of increase in income. Alright, so why do I say that gasoline is a normal good? Is because we use it in our everyday life. For example, you Mr. Ramdan, you use gasoline in your car to send your daughter to go to school. You use your car to come to college and teach us as your students. So it proves that gasoline is actually a need and a necessity in our daily life and everyone else's daily life. So in conclusion, this proves that Malaysia has a long way to go before electric vehicles become superior than gasoline using cars, because it is proven here that increase in income will only cause increase in gasoline quantity demanded and not affect anything on electric vehicles. So may our country move in the better direction, and I think that is all from me, and that is all from our groupmates. Thank you very much and have a blessed day.